way in the back right there.
I have a question that's less about the book specifically, but how do you find writing to somebody else's outline compared to writing your own stories?
Okay, how does it compare writing to someone else's outline to writing my own stories? And it's actually been a lot more natural than I had worried it would be. One of the things is my writing process, I tend to use an outline. I make my own outline. I write from an outline, and the way I build my outlines is based around big focal important scenes. You know, an outline for me isn't A, B, 1.1, 1.2. It isn't built that way. An outline is, here is this awesome, incredible scene that I want to have happen, and then I build backward how to make that scene occur the way I want it to. And coincidentally, the way that Robert Jordan wrote was to work on scenes he found important and write them first. And so the notes that I was handed were essentially a list of important scenes, and sometimes without connecting material. But in a lot of the cases, the very important scenes were either indicated to me or written completely or left with a line or a paragraph or a dictation telling me what to do. And this, when I built this, fell very naturally into my type of outline because of the way I outline. And so I could say, oh, we have this very important scene that Robert Jordan has written. I now need to build the foundation to make that scene happen. But we have that scene, and you know, he left the ending of the last book. I need to build that foundation to write this to make this ending happening the way he wanted it to happen, and that's been very natural. I didn't think that it would be, but it is. One of the aspects of it that makes it very natural is that I have been given the creative license to I essentially have complete creative control so long as I can convince the other three that it is a good idea. And I usually do that by writing it first and letting them read it. And if the scene speaks for itself and convinces them, then they say, okay, this is good. And in doing that, you know, one of my guiding principles is to stay as true to Robert Jordan's vision as I can. But any artist and any author knows that you can't ever stick to your outline 100%, because if you do that, you end up with something that's just that doesn't have life in it, that's been constricted to a little box. Robert Jordan would not have kept himself to his outline, and I can't be forced to keep myself to the outline. I have to write what's best for the story. That's particularly true because some of the times in the outline, Robert Jordan will say, I'm thinking of doing this, or I'll do this, or maybe neither. Those sorts of things are in the outline rather frequently, and so there is a lot of fluidity to that. I can change things. I'm changing things very infrequently, but I am occasionally changing things as the story seems to fit better, and to make sure that we're not that one scene isn't contradicting another. And so I do have creative freedom on the project, as much as I need, bounded by convincing Team Jordan and staying true to my own conscience that this is not to be about me, but to be about Robert Jordan's vision. There's just a bunch of heads and then disembodied arms. Yes, you. Go for it.
Maybe I missed this, but what exactly does Mahalanir mean?
What exactly does Mahalanir mean? It means he who soars.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Justin.
From the back.
Yes.
When Rand, Matt, and Karen think of each other and see the Bavarian colors swirl, why do they always stop the viewing?
Why do they always stop it? Why do they stop it when the colors swirl? It's just their personalities. Do you guys have anything you want to say on that?
Raffle.
No, that's not a raffo. That's
the nature of the beast.
That's the nature of the beast. They remember none of the three of these, even Matt to an extent, don't really want to be involved in this. They still, a piece of them sees themselves as just the boys from the village, and they're doing something, and these stupid visions start popping up in their head, in front of them. They're like, I don't want to be doing that. Get out of my eyes. And so it's just they want to get rid of them. It's their instincts.
And sometimes they see things they really don't want to see.
Yeah, that happened to Matt in, was it Crown of Swords? Not Crown of Swords, Crossroads of Twilight, where he's like, whoa! Get rid of that one. All right, you've been very excitedly holding your hand, and then we'll go to the woman in the front here.
Well, actually, it's like I wanted to know if you already have in your mind or written down or something an outline for Memory of Light, and and if it's already you feel that it's already like built, partially built, or you have really to start like from like making it, like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. The question is the outline for A Memory of Light completely built? Is it partially built, or does it need to be completely done? The outline for A Memory of Light is partially done. In 2008, after my first reread of the entire series, I flew to Charleston, where I met with Team Jordan and went over the outline up until the end of what became Towers of Midnight. At the 2/3 mark, and we went over it, and I told them what I was planning to do, and they raised a few eyebrows at me for some parts of it, and they said, "Oh, that's good for other parts," and we talked over things, and then I sat down to write those first 2/3 of what I was still planning at that point to be one big book. And I have not done that yet for A Memory of Light. I do have the outline. It's being built. We have all the things that Robert Jordan left, plus things I have inserted, plus things that I've been working toward through the books. But I haven't actually gone to Team Jordan yet. I'm going to do that in March when I go out for the tarvalon.net anniversary. And I'm going to sit down and show them the rest of the outline and get their opinions on it and see what raises eyebrows and what does not. And at that point, I will have I'm going to read the series through again completely before I fly out. And at that point, I will have the outline theoretically complete, and that's when I'll start writing on it.
Thank you.
All right, a woman up here, and then we'll do some more. To be able to win snakes and foxes all the time. Now, you know what? I'm not going to raffle that. I'm going to say that nothing has fundamentally changed about the game Snakes and Foxes. You may interpret the event at the end of Towers of Midnight how you will. But anyone else trying that in the future will likely have the same results that one has had through the course of the series up until that point. All right, 2 more questions.
When you said that some of your ideas raised eyebrows, were you able to
Yes.
sell any of those, and can you share any of them?
You know, I'm not, some of them raised eyebrows. What can I share those? What I specifically wrote and what Robert Jordan wrote. And if I talked on those, I think it would maybe draw too much attention to what is me and what is Robert Jordan. After the books are done, I theorizing stage. One of them made it into the book after I wrote the scenes and sent it in. They said, "Wow, this actually works." I didn't think it would, but this really works. And so those were the 2 major eyebrow raises. And like I said, the first one we killed. During these, I do a lot of brainstorming, and to build a book that feels right, that feels alive, I feel that some of it has to be pretty out there brainstorming. You have to go from the expected to the completely unexpected, and back the ideas back and forth. And I don't ever go into these sessions expecting to use all these things or even wanting to. And in some places, I'm just trying to test reactions and get a feel for what everyone thinks. So anyway, all right. Does someone have a question?